it's not about the tools, it's about the spirit. So the concept of revitalization is inspiring, permeating, imbuing new life, vigor, or vitality. And to me, I'm using my hands, I feel like it's a really energizing and engaging word.
Today, I'm excited to welcome Katie Anderson back to the show as we continue our AME interview series. Now, Katie and I have chatted several times before, and while the topic is always different, one thing never changes. The energy and engagement we always share is through the roof. I think it's probably because we're both pretty extroverted when it comes to these sorts of situations, but man, I sure do enjoy our conversations. Now, today we talk about several different topics, including the whole idea of being revitalized. So much fun. Now, show notes for this episode, which will include links to everything we talk about, can be found over at gembapodcast.com. Just look for episode 297. And as always, if you'd like to check out all the Gemba Academy has to offer, please visit gembaacademy.com. If you're looking to learn more about Lean, Six Sigma, or take virtual tours to companies like the Lighthouse for the Blind, we have you covered. Just go to gembaacademy.com and sign up for a free trial. Okay, enough from me. Let's get to the show. Katie Anderson, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Good to be here with you, Ron.
Yeah, well, we did this, maybe it'll be an annual tradition.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, back at AME. So how's the show been?
It's been great. And, both the presenters and learning experiences, as well as just running into so many people and great lean thinkers.
What's been your favorite keynote?
What has been my favorite keynote? I don't remember his name right now. Sweeney, he did the comedian, and then he had an interactive session, and I really love it when
you were up on your feet.
Yeah, people have something that's engaging and interactive, and at the end with the whole clapping, that was really fun. And of course, there are a lot of great storytellers, but for me, having some sort of interactive experience when the lights are on feels a lot more engaging and energizing.
Yeah, when it was afternoon too, so it was like, man, my blood is kind of.
How about you, Ron?
Yeah, that one was really good. I'm obviously a huge Richard Sheridan fan.
Yes, he's the storyteller.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah, so he was good. Yeah, I missed the Colonel. But I've heard that was like one of the best ones. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, I did. He's a great storyteller too.
Yeah.
So really,
I don't know if they're recording them. I guess they are. Hopefully, we can play it back sometime. But anyhow, well, hey, welcome back. So. Let's jump right in, Katie. We kind of like to begin our episodes with a quote. So do you have one you want to roll with?
I do. There's a quote that has been on my mind a lot in the last months. It's a Japanese proverb that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. And it's really about the concept of perseverance and knowing that we will have failure along the way, but how do we have that perseverance and grit to get up and continue to learn from our mistakes and move forward and keep moving forward until we reach our goal. And there's actually, I'm holding a Daruma for you right now that I can't believe haven't given you one before, but a Daruma doll from Japan. It's about setting a goal, and it too is about perseverance, because I'm doing this right now for Ron, that when you knock it over, it actually gets back up. And so they're actually really linked together. And so may you fall down, well, maybe not fall down 7 times, but may you keep getting up on the way of your job. Right? No matter how many times. It's like the 5 whys. It doesn't have to be the same.
Exactly.
So that's my proverb.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's awesome. I like that one. All right. Well, listen, you've been on 3 times. We looked it up right before we hit record. One's episode 173. I think it was about A3s or something like that.
We were talking a lot about many things, but the focus of that was how to use A3 thinking for personal development and coaching. Yeah, so that framework for improving habits and behaviors.
Yep. And then 242 was last year AME.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then 281 was more recently with you and our friend Karen.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was awesome. So we'll put those into show notes. So folks haven't heard that, you got to listen to all of Katie's wisdom. And we have a lot of fun too.
Well, I was telling someone last year, I felt like you and I, with our high energy, just kept feeding off of each other.
Exactly.
So I kind of feel the energy starting to build here, Ron.
I know, it's awesome. Well, plus it's way better in person.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I do most of these over Skype, which is fine, but nothing beats being in person. So, all right, well, listen, I want to jump in. We got a couple different topics I think we're going to kind of riff on here a little bit. Mr. Yoshino, you're spending a lot of time with Mr. Yoshino, doing a lot of webcast kind of interviews. I see you posting them on LinkedIn and writing a book, obviously.
Yep.
And I know you don't have a name for the book yet, right? Or do you?
No, and but I will be putting it out to social media to help me choose a name. So stay tuned.
Okay. But obviously, Mr. Yoshino has an incredible amount of wisdom and knowledge as it relates to TPS, to lean, to what we call lean today. Well, let's dig into that a little bit. Like, how's that going, and what are you learning, and what is he learning, perhaps even?
Yeah, I think. Absolutely. I think on the podcast we recorded at the AME conference in San Diego last year, I told the story about Mr. Yoshino's paint mistake. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go back to that. And since that time, we have continued. So I really started writing about a year ago, but had been doing interviews for many, many months. And what's been really interesting through the process of going more deeply into his stories, with me writing and realizing there were gaps, or me going back and asking more questions. And we talk every 1 or 2 weeks together, depending on what our travel plans are. This concept of Hansei, the Japanese word for reflection, has really become quite powerful. He's told me that this whole experience over the last year and a half has been some of the best time of his life, because he is learning and relearning more deeply than he had before, and having to have the opportunity to have someone ask questions and listen and probe a little bit more, and also synthesizing the stories and showing them back to him. He just says it's been so rewarding, and it's been tough sometimes too. He's remembered, so that the paint story from last time, that was a memory he hadn't thought of in 40 years, which is, so the interviews had really pulled that out.
Yeah.
And then really more recently, we've been diving more deeply at the other end of his career. So he was at Toyota for over 40 years. For those of you who don't know who Isao Yoshino is, he was Toyota veteran, spent many of his years in the United States, and actually was John Shook's first manager when John was the first American employee at TMC for the NUMI training. So that's a little context. So we've been focusing on the end of his career and this huge failure for Toyota and for Yoshino personally. And he's always transparent and talks about the boat failure. But in going more deep and trying to understand the context, he says he's opened up and talked about elements that he hasn't shared with anyone ever, and has kind of wanted to put it away. But the process of reflection and even talking about the tough times has actually, in some ways, he didn't use the word a healing process, but I see in his face, like he's like, I can talk about this now, and realizing it wasn't all his mistakes.
Now, what was the failure?
Did you know that Toyota had a water ski boat business?
No.
Yeah, so that's in the late 1990s, and it was Mr. Yoshino's idea to bring they were putting the Lexus motor in motorboats in Japan, but he thought, this would be a great idea. The U.S. market has this huge, water ski, water boat market. And it was you'll learn about the story in detail in the book, but the short story is it was a huge failure that cost the company $13 million. Yoshino was over in the U.S. for many years, helping lead that experiment. And there are a lot of things that went wrong, and some things that he did personally that he feels like he could have been a better manager at, even though he was trying his best. Yeah. But looking in retrospect, that he wasn't as successful with. And then there were also some challenges from the company's perspective too. And this is almost like the anti-NUMI story.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll read more in your book, I guess, but that's pretty powerful. So, talk about like his, I don't know, like his emotions when he's because we won't be able to see that in the book.
Yeah,
right?
It's been all over. There have been times where he, so talking about this, so the concept of reflection.
Is there like shame? Is there like head down or?
No, so it was he was slow to respond, and he's told me, I've learned about the boat story over many years. Yeah. But when I realized when I was starting to write about it that there were huge gaps that I didn't quite understand the context. I had like little bits and pieces. So I was going back and asking him more, and he was a little quiet, and he told me some things, and then I said, okay, I'm going to write things, and you fill some gaps in writing. And it was taking him a long turnaround time.
Okay.
And he finally got back to me, and he said, you know what, I realize I haven't wanted to go and revisit this time of my life because it was really hard.
Yeah.
But now that I have, I'm feeling better about it. And then we had further conversation, and you could just see he was apologizing to me for being, slow in his turnaround time. But now he just was lighting up. One of those photos recently, he was lighting up saying, oh my gosh, like I have how now.
He has the biggest smile when he
like,
smiles. Yeah.
You've given me this gift. I'm sort of paraphrasing things that he said. Like, you've given me this gift of asking the questions and hanging with me in processing this time. And now I realize so much more about it, and I feel okay and good. And
so what can we learn from that?
Yeah, so I've been thinking, so I almost feel like there's a meta story over the book, which is the process of Hansei, of reflection, and also how that can be done through relationship. So someone helping, be in a supporting position and asking questions and really caring and helping someone reflect and learn. So, I think for me, the big learning around this is how important it is to take the time to reflect and to look backwards. And we're so often moving so fast. It does, we kind of do a tick the box or what happened, or even for this one experience for Yoshino, he almost compartmentalized it and it was like, let's put it away. And I said the process of relearning, he's actually going back to that time and looking at it with maybe a different lens.
Yeah.
He's learning new things, and I think there's a lot of value for us to know that this concept of Hansei is so critical of reflection for both our own improvement, but also from an organizational perspective.
So, do you have tips on how often one should reflect?
Yeah, I think. Well, when I coach people, I would say this is almost like the micro Hansei. I'm using air quotes here, which is bringing in at least some intentional time every day to say, how did today go? What did I expect? What can I learn? Even if it's just a few minutes to jot down some notes or...
Now, I know you're big on gratitude too.
Yeah.
You're a big gratitude
I am.
believer. So how do you link the two?
How do I link the two? For me, it's about just being, grateful for the moments and looking... so I'll go back to like a saying of my dad who passed almost 3 years ago, that today's a great day. So sometimes there's a lot of really tough times. Wanted to use a different word. And he passed from ALS, but even through that whole experience, he found the positive in the moment. It doesn't mean you don't have every day you have to be bright and cheery or whatever, but how can you reflect or think of what was something good from today that I can take from and learn? He always say, like, today's the sun shining, like, so I can focus on that and use that gratitude for the positive to help lift us up. But also, it's important to reflect on the things that aren't not going well in our life as well. And, as Yoshino comments in the book too, if we only do Hansei on failure, well, first, we often don't look at our failure.
But if especially in the West.
So right. But we need to look back and really understand why things didn't go right, and then how can we adjust and then share our learnings with other people. Which Yoshino's at the end of his life, so he's now hoping to share his learnings with other people to have some learning. But we also often don't reflect on success. We just sort of celebrate success, but we don't say, what was the process that led to the outcome, and was that the right process, or did we just sort of were we just lucky? But so linking it back to gratitude, I guess for me, taking time to slow down allows us to connect with our gratitude. So there's reflection to understand for ourselves, but also just gratitude to be grounded and be present. The whole concept of mindfulness. I think they're all linked together. The time to slow down gives us space to reflect, and also gives us space to express our gratitude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, I didn't even expect that part.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Yeah. So talk about reflection at the macro level then. What's that look like? Right.
So the micro level would be sort of like the everyday kind of what did I plan? So I see this book as more of the process of writing this book, in some ways the macro. How do you take big moments of time and look back and really try and find the deeper learning from that sometimes we don't see when we're kind of, we're zoomed down into like the small, like, a short period of time or one incident, but can we see the connections across things? Can we look at the pattern?
Yeah.
And I think that process of macro reflection also is really important.
Yeah.
And knowing that we may have reflected in the past as well, but now that we have new contexts and maybe a new lens at which to look at the past, to look at it again. And this is where, Yoshino's like, wow, I'm relearning and learning again and learning something new.
Yeah.
And I think, that's, his words, but also all of us can have that experience as well. And how the relationship is what enables that deeper Hansei. Yes, you can sit in a room and reflect, but it's that relationship of asking questions, humbly listening, and caring about someone. And I think about how we can all support and help each other, and that there's a lot of power in that humanity. So I'm grateful for that, perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my business partner Kevin Meyer, he's super good at reflecting,
Yes.
and he's very intentional about it. I think I try to emulate that as best I can, but I'm not near as good at. He'll even go away for some time and just like really decompress and really think back on the year or whatever it was. So, yeah. Hey, so another word that you mentioned to me before we started recording, something that's been resonating with you, is the word revitalization. What's that all about?
Yeah. So, this is a word that I started hearing a lot when I was living in Japan and going out to Gemba. So I moved to Japan in 2015, lived there for 18 months, and I go back regularly now. And when I go to companies who are practicing what I would say, elements of lean thinking and practice, although they don't use that word in Japan, the word revitalization or revitalize, it often is used in reference to why they are focusing on people development and why they're bringing in different tools and processes. It's not about the tools, it's about the spirit. So the concept of revitalization is inspiring, permeating, imbuing new life, vigor, or vitality. And to me, I'm using my hands. I feel like it's a really energizing and engaging word. And I was thinking about that a lot in reference to, even a conference here. I never hear in the West revitalization used in context of lean or process improvement or continuous improvement. And maybe that's part of why
recharge you hear sometimes.
Like, and I almost feel like an event like this at the AME conference is a source of revitalization for us. Like we're all getting energy from each other and renewed vigor. And I think it's a really great word, and one to take back, maybe to your own organization. Like why are we doing these, all this lean stuff? At the end of the day, it's about people. It's about developing people, revitalizing people, revitalizing industries, revitalizing companies. And I just love the energy that's around that world.
No, that's a really good word.
We talk about a lot of the speakers have talked about how do we engage people and engagement, but like there's something that's like that revitalize their commitment and energy about delivering
I
value.
think when you think about to revitalize means to say that there was vitality at one point, right? And that we're bringing it back, right? Or know that even if that was when we were children, and it was sucked out of us as we became adults, getting back to that childlike vigor or whatever, right? And excitement and curiosity to learn and experiment, and ask why, right? All these things, I think it's all related.
Absolutely. I mean, so many of the speakers here are painting the picture of like you're in all these meetings and things are boring and like we're all kind of trudging through. We need to change. I'm like revitalization. We need to.
I like it.
Yeah. So make it easy and inspiring and to do our work every day and be the leader that
So
Yes.
Jessica on our team, she listens to these and she actually names all these episodes. So Jessica, we got to work in revitalization into the title of this episode.
Vigor, and I love it. You're shaking your daruma around.
Yeah,
we're feeling really. There's a Japanese word called genki, which means like full of spirit, energy, and health. So you're very genki right now.
That's great. That's great. Well, speaking of Japan, talk about your Japan trip, because I know it's been very, very successful for you.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, do you have any room in your next trip?
So I have a big daruma that I filled in a goal for myself for 2020, which was not to lead just one trip to Japan, but two.
Okay.
And I'm super excited to announce as of this week, the May trip for 2020 is sold out, which is incredible. But I'm doing a trip in October as well.
Okay.
So October 4th through 10th, 2020, and I'm going back to Japan in January to keep up my relationships and explore some new Gemba learning opportunities.
Nice.
And so we're going to focus a little bit on the island of Kyushu as well as another region. And so I'm developing
That's where the Toyota
program.
plant is, isn't
There's
it?
the Toyota Lexus plant there.
Yeah, I've been to that one.
Me too. So I've been there and some
What a
suppliers.
place.
Yeah, so we're going to go there.
I almost cried. I mean, that sounds weird.
No,
Like I remember standing on the little catwalk thing or whatever, just watching this guy assemble his car kind of thing, but it was like this beautiful dance, man.
It's
this guy
ballet.
was doing.
Yeah. Any of the Toyota plants in Japan are that way. But I'm excited to go back to Toyota Kyushu. I haven't been there since 2016, I think. So it'll be really fun to see what's going on, and some other suppliers and some other areas. So I'm putting together the program, but it's going to be awesome and still be focused on, no matter what, people, leadership, the people side, the vitality, the revitalization, the customer service. That's the focus. And so
awesome.
I'm super excited.
So kbjanderson.com, I guess will be some info on there.
Yep, and then / Japan trip, but you can go to just the main landing webpage.
Okay, cool. I want to get also an update on the AME Consortium that I know you're in particular in San Francisco.
Yep.
But maybe just that one, and then also AME, because I was even talking to a young lady last night who's all fired up about starting one in another part of the country. Like, how is this all working?
Yeah, so it's really exciting. AME is putting a lot of energy and effort in investing in consortia starting in many metro areas across the U.S. and Canada. So when I started up the San Francisco Bay Area AME Consortia, there were just 4 consortia programs, and it's grown, I think, to 12 now. Some are just getting started and finding companies. So and one's in Canada, I think in the Toronto area, actually. And Ryan Meekum is always looking for more facilitators and companies who are interested in coming together.
How many people do you need to start one?
I think you need a minimum probably of 4 companies to be a go.
Okay.
And then I was fortunate to start with 6 companies, and now we've grown to 11 in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you're in the San Francisco broader Bay Area, I'd love to have you join your company.
Is there a
join.
limit though? Can it get too big?
Yeah, well, I think there's probably once you hit the tipping point past 1820 that you're probably it changes the structure of the consortium, and maybe you break into different metro areas like north and
San
south,
or
yeah. But and then figure that would be an awesome problem to have, and I look forward to solving that one in the future. It's so engaging and to reuse the word again, revitalizing for me to have the opportunity to go out to all these companies and learn. And it's not an individual membership, it's at a company level, because the purpose is the sharing, the growing, the connecting, and growing and learning together. And so they host site visits for each other. My role is to help facilitate their discussions, facilitate their learning program. It's awesome.
And where do folks go for that?
So if you go onto the AME webpage, I think it's /consortia, ame.org /consortia.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but if you just Googled.
Okay. We'll put it in the show notes. I have no idea what number this will be. Maybe I'll come in and add it at the end or something.
Yeah.
but
it's great, and it's so there's AME wants to do more. So definitely a great way for your listeners to get involved.
Good. Anything else, Katie, that you want to talk about? Words of wisdom?
Well, I don't know if it's words of wisdom, but, I was really inspired when you came to the San Francisco Bay Area for our consortia last year and did a kata presentation, and we're really taking and expanding with that.
Good.
And, I think we're doing another kata practitioner day in April 2020, and it's just really fun to see. I'm just looking around right here at AME of how many just people and how much energy there is going into that. So I feel energized and revitalized. And
hey, I know Michael Lombard is listening to this right now.
Oh, yeah.
I understand he doesn't have one of these
Darumas.
I know. So Mike, I'm so sorry that I got one before you.
I know. I promised him he gets a big he gets a bigger one.
Oh, okay.
Michael's my co-organizer in the Kata Practitioner Day.
He just needs to know who got one first.
No, I know, and I know Mike Rother and I already poked some fun at him yesterday. So
we love you, Michael.
Yeah. So what I want you to do with that Daruma is to fill in the left eye and set a goal for yourself.
Okay.
And if you are open to sharing your goal with me, you can, but you don't have to. Okay. But then send me a picture when you achieve your goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you fill in the right eye.
You fill in the right eye. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. It's a visual reminder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's always fun.
I understand you got a special
Yes.
landing
so
page
I
for
do
our
have
listeners?
a special landing page, and this is for all of the different podcasts that I've recorded with you. It's kbjanderson.com/Gemba Academy, all run together. And if you're interested in coming to Japan with me, I have a special offer for you. So go to that website and reach out to me.
kbjanderson.com/Gemba Academy, all one word.
Yep.
Got it. Katie,
awesome.
Thank you.
Always fun.
All right. Keep up the great work.
You too.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the Gemba Academy podcast. Now, we invite you to take a no-strings-attached, fully functional test drive of GembaAcademy.com. Gain immediate access to more than 1,000 Lean and Six Sigma learning resources, all free of charge, at GembaAcademy.com.